they do have a tendency to see something that's working and then go, let grab it, do it,
Make it a quest. Make it like Star Wars.
Put a woman in it, make her lame and gay. No, you can't. I'm sorry.
No,
You're talking out of the side of your face here. You cannot. Okay.
No, I'm not. How you go on a journey to discover something, whether it's about yourself or about someone else.
That's just
or
called
a
linear
relic or with a
storytelling.
MacGuffin.
It doesn't always mean it's a quest.
Welcome back to the Wiseworks podcast, the wacky wonderful, in fact. All you guys, gals, geeks, and goofballs. I have a quick question to open it up. So, to give you context, there is...
What?
Oh, by the way, we got Joshua Wisner and Wyatt.
Yes.
Why are you specifying with this? Okay.
We do forget
because we
to
never
do
do
our
introductions.
Names. We do forget.
But we got the name tag.
I'm
do
Wyatt.
the
You're
lower
Josh.
third.
That's Joe.
We put the lower third.
Look, I'm just saying there might be new people. To get back to the context. So, you guys, there's layers to this.
Okay, onion.
So, have you guys heard this? Have you guys heard this Theo Von clip where he talks about his thoughts about Tampa? And his basic premise is that Tampa, Florida is like where it's full of people who wanted to be pirates and came to Tampa to be pirates, but they showed up and piracy was no longer like a fad once they got here.
And we're not talking like these were people back in like, the early 1900s or anything, but it's modern people like modern people thought that they could be pirates.
Okay. With that context, it's funny because Tampa is having a huge festival that is pirate themed. I mean, tens of thousands of people go to this. They all dress up like pirates. They have sail ships there that people can drink. People can drink and party on them. And there's a couple people that I'm associated with through Kenzie's internship that are going and are pressuring me to go. While I was taking a shower this morning, I was thinking about it, and it definitely seems up my alley with the exception of one thing, the crowds. Now, when I was thinking about this, I was like, I am an extrovert. I love being with people. I get energized by that. But I do not like crowds.
If I was going to describe you, I would say you get...
I took the test. I know what makes me feel energized, what makes me feel happy. I like being around
home
people.
Makes you feel good. You don't like to go out to a club. Listen, you don't like to even go to the bar, really. You just like to sit at your house.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Listen, this is what I'm saying. Do you have to enjoy crowds to be an extrovert?
No.
Yes.
I don't think so either, but I was literally saying, like, this seems awesome to go to, but I'm really hesitant because of how many people will be there. And I'm thinking, like, I know I'm an extrovert with what makes me happy.
Because I think the definition is skewed. I think anybody who's like, oh, you're not really an extrovert because you don't like large crowds of people and going to the club and, the potential to be, knocked over or shoved aside or pickpocketed or smelling people's
but I love those pit smells.
Ew. It just means that you don't like that atmosphere. Extroverts, I think it's more like you just get along with people. You just like new people and talking to people and spending time with people and not and going out and doing
and in
things.
Some ways
doesn't mean, that it has to be crowded.
No, it has to.
In some ways, crowds are the opposite of extroversion because you don't get a chance to make a good connection with any of these people.
So we're defining extroverted, or are you extroverted right now?
I'm saying I just feel like I know I'm an extrovert and I'm happy to be extrovert. I'm proud to say that I don't find enjoyment or fulfillment by being by myself and having alone time, but I don't like crowds at all. And I don't like festivals and parades because there's crowds. I don't like the
Yeah,
vibe.
no, that makes sense.
As I get older, I'm hesitant to go to things that I think I would enjoy, but I don't want to deal with the crowds, you know?
Grandpa Joe, you can sit on your front porch with a rocking chair,
That sounds awesome.
beverage,
and have my 3 best
cool,
friends
actually.
there with me. Yeah. I don't want to be alone in the rocking chair on the porch.
I enjoy
We'll get a big
that,
double
but not as
rocking
much
chair.
as you guys. I think you guys do enjoy that
Snuggle
more
Think
up
we
than
with
could
my
get a
bestie.
triple rocking chair?
like a double rest.
I just got through saying I don't like
Well,
crowds.
you don't.
No,
Yeah, I
everybody's
mean,
got to have their own rocking chair.
but your 3 best friends, we can all fit on the rocking chair
Right.
or one of those rocking benches.
Yeah,
Wait, here's the
well,
question.
they have the
I
ones that
don't
hang
like
by
those very
chains. You could fit
much.
3 people on that.
Yeah, they always tend to fall.
'Cause they
always
fail.
tend to fall.
They fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so what's funny. It's
I
so
like
fun when they
I
fail,
like
'cause you
I
get
like
a
the one that's like
wonderful sight.
it's on the ground, but you still get the same rocking motion.
It's way God
Yes.
intended, utilizing gravity, not
Yeah, give me
monkey
yeah,
science.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I don't need a swing. Give me a couple primitive, bent wooden pieces on the bottom of a chair. Yeah.
I need to be tethered to the
Okay,
earth, not a freaking tree.
Here's the question then. Here's the question. Because this is the question. And I know
It is the question.
the true
I'm
answer
ready.
to this. I don't think me or Wyatt are on this rocking chair. You got 2 spots on this rocking chair for people to sit with you. Who's sitting with you?
Yeah.
Yep. Who's
sitting
on your
next to
rocking
me?
chair with you?
You can only pick 2 people.
Only 2. I don't think I'm on
But
the
I
rocking
have
chair.
4.
Yeah.
Excluding my brother, I have 4
Nope.
good friends. I have one on the rocking
You've got
chair.
2 other spots besides you. You're taking up 1 and 2 other spots.
Can the other 2 friends sit in rocking
This
chairs
is a
separate from me?
person
we're all
rocking
3
chair.
rocker.
Mm-hmm. This is
Dang
the
it.
question.
Definitely
No,
not Josh.
I know. I know I ain't up there. I ain't up there. I'm in the backyard, the backyard
Telling your dad how to work.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
Look, okay, so this is what I think. I'm gonna go. This is not. I'm gonna say, if we're on a rocking chair, the motivation for the company is communication.
Okay.
All right.
I thought we were
good verbiage communication out. But that kind of spending time is different from like doing an activity with a friend. So if I'm saying, basically, am I on a rocking chair with 2 of my good friends, or am I going on a hike with 2 of my good friends? You know what I mean? Those are different. So I'm going to say, who's on the rocking chair with me? I'm going to have Seth and Wyatt.
Cool.
If I'm on a hike, I'm going to have Wyatt and Tim. Because Seth's not great on hikes.
Don't tempt me. I will complain just as much as Seth on a hike.
Yeah.
No.
Well, then I'm swapping you out for Jamark or something.
Actually, John Mark would probably enjoy the hike more than me. But no, I would have
you
fun
out
with
for
the
Jamark
hike.
on a hike.
I would have fun with the hike.
Let's see. Is there an activity I wouldn't do with Wyatt? Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say dress up, but you always go hard on Halloween. You dress up as the same thing.
So
there's an activity that I wouldn't do with Wyatt. Wyatt, you're too much of a chameleon. You just kind of find your way.
That's what I enjoy. I like to.
I just
blend
think
in.
we're getting down to your thing here where you just like to please other people.
It's not please. I like to be a part. I like to be a part of the things. Josh thinks he's disappearing into the background by standing in the corner and being quiet. He's just clearly over there being quiet. Whereas I like to blend into the crowd, become one of the people.
Okay, I would not go to get a tattoo with Wyatt because he'd be complaining that he doesn't really want a tattoo. That's why I wouldn't go get a tattoo with Wyatt. I wouldn't take him to a tattoo parlor, but I would take Tim and Seth, and I think Jamark would be a good time as well.
He'd probably have a good time and then regret it. And
I think it would be fun with Seth because Right. Seth would be fun because he doesn't want tattoos, but if I work hard enough, I
Yeah.
could talk him into
Seth?
getting one. And he'd be going like, yeah, Seth, when he's getting his tattoo, he'd be going like,
I feel like we could really
he'd be really
we could
intense
really
about
hype
it.
Seth up. That's the fun
Yeah,
part
and get him
about
to get a
Seth. We could
tattoo.
really hype him up and get him to get that tattoo.
You can get him into anything if you're
We
tactful.
really hype him up.
If you're careful, you can get
It's funny. It's funny to hype him
It's
up.
funny because Seth's a preacher boy, and he's the kind of guy that
Yeah,
you
as
can get
long
him to
as
do
you hype
anything,
him
you can
up,
talk him
as
up.
long as you really get behind, it's like, yeah, hey,
Yes,
yeah.
freaking, this is so cool, man. I already got a tattoo with Tim, so I know that experience.
Oh man,
Tim just kind of makes friends with the guy who's giving him a
Mm.
tattoo. That's what Tim does. I kind of keep to myself. I don't give too much personal information unless I'm asked personal information. But yeah, me and Joshua, that was the last tattoo I got was me and Joshua. So I guess I'd get a tattoo with Joshua as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. To bring it all back around, do you guys think I should go to this
I think
pirate
if you think
festival
you're
in
gonna
Tampa?
have fun, yeah. But if you don't think you're gonna have fun, no.
It's a wild card, dude. It would be me taking a gamble.
I think
It's a real gamble. And I'd have to get a pirate outfit.
I think you should for the experience because you're being forced to do something you don't want to do. But ultimately, deep down, I don't think you're going to enjoy it because one, there's going to be people that you're going with who are like having a great time, and you're like, I'm an old man. I just want to be home with my baby, and
my baby will be babysitting by somebody because she's not.
So you're just trying to. You don't want to make it bad for them, but I think you should go because you're going to be forced to have a good time because
Get
of
outside
them.
of your comfort zone and maybe have some fun. I think.
All right, if it lines up to where we can get a babysitter,
potentially it could be really fun. I think also potentially it could be very not fun because you're going to spend time around people who think they're pirates, and there's a lot of stealing. There could be stealing. Pirates could
not
be
bringing my
stealing
wallet.
things. Everybody wants to be a pirate.
Right.
Pirate rules are
dude. It's ultimate pirate rules. You got tens of thousands of pirates around you.
Take what you
in
can.
Tampa, Florida.
Give nothing back.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna have to take some. I'll come away with someone else's wallet, and someone else will have mine.
And then after the event's over, you have to get in contact with them and be like, "Hey, I have."
Be like, "Hey, I got your license.
Sorry.
I know it's a real headache.
Let me just return this because we're not pirates right now."
Right. That was yesterday.
We're stand-up citizens. That was yesterday. This is today.
What if they did that? Almost like a purge thing where everybody
for one day you can
everybody's a
steal anything
pirate.
you want. They did that out west in California, except they did it for they've prolonged it. You can
Wait,
still
what?
do that.
They do it in California.
Yeah, out
You can
in
just steal what you
California,
want.
they've had a 3-year purge where you can just steal what you want.
So this is the forever purge?
Yeah.
Sort of. Look, there was actually an interesting debate between Gavin Newsom, the guy, the senator for California, and Ron DeSantis,
Okay.
Florida. And I watched it this week. It was a couple days ago. And I think Ron DeSantis whooped his butt. And it was so funny because I live in Florida now, and I've been to California plenty, so I know exactly what's in California. So every time there'd be an accusation made about California, Gavin Newsom would just lie about stuff. I have experience in both states. He would just lie about what it's like in California and what it's like in Florida. And Ron DeSantis, there's one point he made that people are moving to Florida from California and saying like it feels like they're living in a dream because they could just go to the grocery store, pick stuff off the shelf, and buy it. Because in California, everything's locked up in plastic cases because you could just go in and steal up to $1,000 worth of stuff in California, and they can't call
Walk right out.
Yeah, so everything's at these stores in California are boxed up. Like regular, like a Publix will have bars on the windows. in what's considered a nice
Yeah.
place in town. You know what I mean? California is for real feels like the purge at
Dystopian
times.
almost.
You have to go out. You have to go out into like wine country to get
Mhm.
away from that. You know, and it's really unfortunate. But yeah, dude, they definitely have a stealing purge, Joshua, out in California in the West.
Yeah.
100%.
Speaking of, purges and, I got no transition. I
Speaking
was
of purges,
trying to create a Planet of the Apes transition, and I have none. I'm
Dang.
going to just be honest instead of.
well, in some ways, the apes purged the humans of being the
Mhm.
dominant species.
I mean, that
in
is
the
what's
story.
going to happen.
Sort
So,
of. I
that's
guess
my
it was more
transition.
of the sickness, not really the apes themselves.
Right. Well, the apes took lead. So what do we got here, Joshua?
So the director of Planet of the Apes, why is his name slipping me right now? The director for Planet of the Apes is, do you know, Wyatt?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Andy, no, it's Andy
Why are
Serkis.
his eyes red in that picture?
I don't know.
Because I used
know.
I used that same picture for a thumbnail, and his eyes are absolutely like bluish green.
I know. Okay, so Ball, his last name is
Wes
Ball.
Ball.
Wes
Yes.
Ball.
Wes Ball is his name.
Sounds like a
so
kid
he,
with a speech
he
impediment
kind
who
of
wants
did
to
an
play
interview
basketball.
he kind of did an interview and talked about a few things of what he
Sorry.
Wes Ball.
Wes Ball.
Wes Ball.
All right,
He did an interview
man.
and kind of talked about the new Planet of the Apes movie that's coming out in May next year.
Right.
And I kind of want to go through it because he said some things, and I don't know if I agree or like what the new movie is going to be about. Kind of, he kind of said he didn't quite tell us what exactly it's going to be about, but we know there's a few things they got to hit in this new movie. So,
right.
Do you want me to read it or?
You want to read some of?
Yeah, how about you read it?
Well,
only
I'll read
because
some
I
of these
can't see it
quotes.
good, and it's gonna probably mess up our stream if I try to go
you're
to
good.
it.
Okay, so this revelation comes as no surprise due to the nature of the teaser trailer recently released, but Ball specifically stated that he felt as though the franchise as a whole could benefit from receiving a dose of Star Wars. And the quote he says is, when I first started on it, I said, I feel like apes need a little bit of Star Wars. I'm not really sure what that means in context.
Read the next paragraph. Yeah, that one you highlighted.
The director. Okay. The director also added that while all still very grounded in reality, just as the previous 3 ape movies, Kingdom is essentially a quest narrative. I hate quest. That's really unfortunate. Where the main characters ultimately becomes his true self. That is, I'm already disliking this a lot.
I am too.
I'm so tired of quests. They ruined Star Wars because they made it
too.
Well, it was questy at the beginning, if we're being honest.
So to give context,
how was it questy? It was a heist. The first one was basically
it's a boy goes on a quest to save a princess. He meets a wizard and
we're talking about Star Wars here, not
and then they go on a quest to save a princess. That's the whole story. That's the first movie. It's an adventure quest.
But the thing is, sure, I guess, but you can almost make the argument that every story is a quest.
No, you can't. I'm sorry.
No,
you're talking out of the side of your face here. You cannot. Okay.
No, I'm not. How you go on a journey to discover something, whether it's about yourself or about someone else.
That's just called linear
storytelling.
It doesn't always mean it's a quest.
Would you consider what's a movie that's not a quest? So we can kind of define like what a quest is. Not a quest would be
a quest is A quest is national treasure.
What's the one where Jake Gyllenhaal's sitting in a on the phone? The Guilty.
Guilty.
Not a quest.
That's not a quest. He
Not a
has
quest.
goals that he is trying to achieve, but he is
Yeah,
not going on a quest.
Fair.
Um, no,
Fair,
I
'cause
don't
he's sitting
mind
I
a
wouldn't say a
quest.
lot of
I don't
Jake
mind.
movies.
I don't mind a
Prisoner's not
quest,
a quest.
especially because we are entering into this world where um, the world is so much bigger than it is right
Mhm.
now. The transportation is horses, so it takes longer to get places. There needs to be some element of travel. We've now regressed into um, different groups of people, different tribes, different families. The knowledge of where things are, of what things are, is more limited now. So discovering different places and different people and different conflicts makes sense for it to be a little bit questy. I don't
Yeah.
have too much of an issue with that.
Right.
So I got two things, kind of on this article, but not quite. So what I'm thinking when you say quest, I think there's going to be, so in context, we already know it's going to be about Caesar's son. Caesar's not around anymore, and so it's going to be about his son and kind of that tribe, I think, or a few apes that are part of that tribe.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some humans. So I think there's that picture in that article where there's a girl with him or a lady, and I think it's going to be the humans need something or the apes need something, so they have to go team up with this small group of humans to do some kind of quest of finding a cure, finding more food so that the apes can survive, the humans can survive. They need more food. They need some kind of resource to keep the race of either apes or humans alive, and to keep them to survive.
What is the Caesar's son's name?
Cornelius.
Okay, so this is a serious update because in the past we found articles that talked about Cornelius and as well as IMDb saying Cornelius is in this. Now it's not saying that anymore because this article says the director says, here we go, young impressionable. Where did he say that? I just saw it. Okay, so the young impressionable Noah, it's Owen Teague, and then if I go over to IMDb,
Yeah.
right, Cornelius is
Oh
no
wow.
longer a part of this.
We might have got some rewrites.
I think they just released information, and someone that wrote previous articles that we've referenced didn't have the correct information.
Interesting.
So apparently, this is not about Caesar's son because Owen Teague is Noah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
So this is not
So
about
you think
Cornelius.
maybe Cornelius is going to be in it, but he's going to almost be playing this, he's in a part of the tribe,
Older
and
character?
he's not the main character. We're not following. Maybe it's more of, I know this is weird to say, but maybe it's like father disapproves of son type thing. They said he has to figure out things about himself, the ape, and so maybe it's almost father disapproves of son, and Cornelius is playing this, we survive as a tribe, we have to survive.
Ooh, that
We're
could be
doing this.
interesting. Maybe Cornelius is his dad.
Yeah, and his son is
that's
like,
true.
no, I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
I don't think we have to do that to survive as apes. And
I'm going to journey away
Yeah.
from the
Mhm.
pack and find my
Yeah.
own way because I don't like this kingdom of the planet of the
Yeah.
apes, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe the kingdom ain't for him. But do you think that the king at the end of the trailer, this
the guy on my
guy,
slides.
well, you have a picture of him. You think this guy's Cornelius?
No, no.
Because he's definitely the
No.
king of the kingdom.
So,
Then it can't be about Cornelius, probably, or
no,
his
no, he
son.
could be just like he could be another conflict character. So it says in that article, further down, it says it's been long enough since the apes kind of got the serum since the first movie to where there's tribes of apes that don't even know who Caesar is, and there's just tribes of apes all over the place, and I think that is probably who this character is, like a different tribe of apes that
It's just a different
it's
time,
totally different
right?
from the first
And
or second movie.
if this is following the time that happens on Earth when, the old Planet of the Apes covered, they left Earth and came back and the apes had taken over, this period on Earth of when the apes took over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the new take from what the original movies had. So this is spanning a long time that this kingdom of apes becoming the dominant species. It's a long period of time. Joshua, you saw not too long ago the movies. Do you remember how long it was from when he left Earth and came back?
Oh, the original one with Charlton Heston.
Yeah, the original.
Charles Heston.
Charlton
Heston.
Charlton Heston.
However you pronounce his name. I don't. I want to say a couple hundred years, but no, I'm pretty sure it's a couple thousand.
So we're talking about a long period of time.
Yeah,
so if the memory of Caesar is no longer in the culture, who in some ways Caesar is
not in culture, but I don't think it's in all of the apes' culture. I think there's apes that don't really know of Caesar anymore, but not
don't
all.
know their own history.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because we don't really know when this takes place now that Cornelius is off the table as far as being a character in this film, which really makes me wonder why the crap were so many people saying it's Cornelius if they didn't have that confirmation. I swear modern day journalism is wilding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
are
feel like
out there.
Did they just all assume this is Cornelius?
No, I don't think we think that at all.
No, we read when they first released the teaser, there was articles about the teaser explaining the rough plot that they had information on, and everybody said Caesar. I know because we confirmed it.
So
And now they're saying no Caesar. No, not Caesar, Cornelius. Now they're saying no Cornelius.
I think so. In the original Planet of the Apes, when they land, the clock on Charlton Heston's ship reads 3,978.
So we're talking almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
From
yeah.
Almost
2,000 years. If you consider that
3,900.
3,900.
Okay, yeah, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
if we're
that's
assuming that it was what? It was back in the when did the movie come out?
40s,
I mean,
70s.
Yeah.
40s?
If we assume that they were predicting that the rocket goes in, the 70s, yeah, that's almost 2,000 years.
It couldn't have been the 70s. That wasn't Charlton
2000.
Heston's time on screen. It was
the
40s.
Yeah, but
right?
it
was way before that.
They would have been
playing into the future. So
they would have been the playing into
sense.
in however long. So
yeah.
Roughly 2,000 years.
Okay.
Give or take.
So we're talking about this. They could just keep making these movies for as long as we watch them.
Yeah.
Because they have 2,000 years to deal with here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's a lot of time. That's a lot of monkeys.
Hey.
Yeah.
And especially if we're deterring from the Caesar lineage.
Yeah. Any kind of battles or conflicts or stories that you want to tell, you have plenty of time to tell them in. And big stuff too. Big historical events for the civilization of the apes.
Yeah.
So let's just theorize, since I feel like our information is skewed at this point. Let's just theorize about the direction this could take. So option 1,
Yep.
he could be related to Cornelius and Caesar in some fashion.
I think
2,
that's what it's
Cornelius could be around, but he's not related to him, and we're just choosing to focus on a new character that branches away from the kingdom. The mantra that Caesar always said, "Together, apes strong," right?
Yeah.
He's choosing to go against that. And then 3 is, this is many years down the road where Caesar and Cornelius have passed away long ago. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 3 options that we have. What do you think is most likely here?
I don't know. I would hope that this is not too far after Caesar, because we still want to
live in that world a bit.
Yeah, we still want to have some of his teachings and things be relevant. Yeah.
In these kingdoms.
I looked up an article. Nobody really knows from reading this. Nobody really knows if Noah is part of Caesar's family, if he's a descendant or a completely different ape, or if
there's a part of me that
here's the quote,
or he's Cornelius under he's a different name that he's going by. I don't know.
So let me just read this quote by the director. This was the last quote that he said in this article. It says, "What I thought was really interesting in war was the bad ape, and he named the actor, became self-aware, and he had no clue who Caesar was. So somewhere out there in this world, there are apes who have no idea who Caesar is, but still come to sense and is led to the whole idea of being historical epic." So I think that we kind of can just take that and be like, there's apes out there who don't really know Caesar is the fact that all these apes are being self-aware and everything like that. I think it almost seems like he's trying to step away from Caesar and that idea and just create something.
So this is not, it's more likely than that. It's in my opinion, this is my theory. It's more likely that this character Noah is separate. It's a separate kingdom, and he wants to branch out. And I think if they want to have fun with the Caesar lineage, on his journey, he discovers the Cornelius tribe. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but why there? So we clearly see in the trailer there's an orangutan.
I think it's more interesting. I think it's more interesting if this is somebody from Caesar's tribe who has experienced all of these teachings of Caesar, who learned kindness and grace and mercy and anger and hate, and taught the apes how to be tried to impart to the apes what being a good person is, and family and being together,
or a good ape,
strength, and what all of these things meant and what it takes to be a good society. And we don't want to be like we don't want to be like the humans. We don't want to follow in their mistakes. And then you go outside of this society with rules, with morals, with history, with friendship, with family and love, and you step out into a world where it's chaos. They have none of that. They came into sapient life without those boundaries and those rules, and
they started enslaving each other, and
they start enslaving each other, and they start falling prey to all the mistakes that humans did all throughout history.
That's true. Do you think this is going to hold up as far as just the love that the people who found for the Caesar films. Do you think this is going to translate well to that audience, or do you think they're going
I
to
would
lose them?
hope so, but when you get these ideas of I want to make this an epic, like you can. I mean, you
Like a
can.
Star Wars?
Yeah, but if you're taking focus off of um really what the other movies set up so that you can just tell your own story in the Planet of
Yeah.
the Apes world, I think we're a little bit
That's a
too.
mistake.
It's a mistake right now, especially because this whole generation is still attached to those Planet of the Apes movies.
I
Those
think
3 Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes movies, and so trying to mess with that is
It's not going to be enjoyed
not going to
as
be enjoyed.
much.
I think that I do like the idea of doing something different, and so they can create a story that
Mhm.
is different and I like unique. But also, I think they're setting themselves up for the production company, like who's ever doing these films, to be like,
Mm,
oh, it's easy. They're almost setting themselves up to do the Disney thing of
Mm.
we have the Star Wars franchise. We can do whatever we want. We can just create a
Yeah.
Rogue One. We can create um uh a just random movie that
Mhm.
it's in the Star Wars universe because we own the rights to that universe. I don't want that because then they will ruin the world of that the Planet of the Apes are in. But I think it is cool, and I think they can dabble in it a little bit, but they need to be careful.
Well, especially if you
okay,
consider
so
that a lot of these companies make these epic movies, these questy
Mhm.
movies, so that they can make toys. Like
Yeah.
Noah Ape with eagle on his fist, or riding a horse,
right.
or the King Ape with a crown on his
I
head, or
mean,
fighting with
This actually
swords.
translates. This translates well because check this out. Um,
did you find it?
20th Century Fox and Disney own this.
Yeah.
So that just means it's going to be Disneyized, and nobody's.
I hope not. I hope that this franchise is far enough down on their ladder that
That they don't mess with it.
they're not messing. They're like, yeah. Let them do whatever. And
Well, 4 movies deep now. Do you think they're
Mhm.
really not paying attention to this, especially when they're hemorrhaging money?
Could be.
They're definitely going to pay
They do
attention to
have a
this.
tendency to see something that's working and then go, grab it, do it,
Make it a quest. Make it like
make it a
Star
quest, make it
Wars.
put a woman in it, make her lame and gay.
This is off topic a little bit, but kind of with this. Did you hear? I'm pretty sure I heard, and I could be mistaken by this. This sounds crazy, but Disney bought the rights to Roadrunner and a Roadrunner cartoon that they're going to put on Disney Plus. Did you hear about this?
I sort of heard about this, but I don't know.
That's
Apparently,
weird
it's been
because
like
that's Warner
delayed.
Brothers.
Yeah, Roadrunner and what's the
Wile E. Coyote.
Acme? Or Wile E.
Wile E. Coyote.
Coyote and Acme, is that the company that he
That's the
buys all his stuff
company.
from?
Yeah.
So they tried to make a cartoon for it and they canceled it, but then I think Disney bought it because they wanted. They were like, we could throw this on Disney Plus, and so I'm pretty sure
That's
Disney
so
bought that,
weird to buy
which is really
somebody
weird.
else's such an
IP.
Maybe I
integral
shouldn't have brought
part
this up because I don't know enough about it. But
of the
Looney
Looney
Tunes.
Tunes is Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Well, they
Acme in
always were a
general.
touch separate. So,
Mhm.
they
I don't know.
didn't.
Still, I don't know.
It is
Roadrunner
important. I would say if Disney's giving them a fat paycheck, what would you be willing to let go in the Looney Tunes world for a fat paycheck?
not Roadrunner. Not me.
Maybe Alien.
Maybe Marvin the Martian.
Right.
And the big furry guy.
Maybe
but
Tweety
even
Bird.
them I like. No, I even Tweety Bird I like.
You'd keep Tweety Bird.
I'd keep Tweety, Sylvester.
You don't
I
want to
don't
let go
know.
of any of the tunes. What about Simony Sam or whatever?
Yosemite. I mean, they've already let go of Pepe Le Pew. He's
Right.
he's already
Yeah,
not allowed in. You know,
he's
he's
too
he's on
creepy.
a watch list.
Right. He's on the no-fly list.
Right. And not because he stinks,
No.
because he's Frank.
Can't trust the French, my dude. Their streets are dirty.
Uh,
Yeah, no, you're right. But I think if Warner Brothers needs some money and they're gonna get a big payout from Disney, and Disney has their eye on Roadrunner, I could see the logic. I could see the logic and say, well, it is very separate from other Looney Tunes. It's its own narrative. And maybe it's a limited contract. Maybe it's like you can make one series for kids or something.
Right.
I don't know.
mm-hmm.
But they're gonna do like a weird 3D animation thing too. It's not gonna be like the cool 2D cartoon style that we've always loved. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen because the talk is that they keep delaying it,
Yeah.
and that it's being pushed further and further down the road, and who knows if we get back to it, especially with the catastrophe that Disney is in right now. Man, Elon Musk slamming Bob Iger, calling him
That's
out.
funny.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
That's pretty
That
funny.
is a wild look. Elon Musk, that's wild. Also, I was watching Friday Night Tights last night, and they were going over some of this stuff, and they brought up an interesting point that the worst thing that could happen, Gary brought up this point, the worst thing that could happen to Disney is if Apple buys Disney.
Yeah.
You think?
Because Apple's even more woke with their politics than Disney is.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't see it as much because they're a tech company, not a media company.
Right.
Right. So if Apple gets involved, which they kind of have been a media company with their Apple TV Plus, but they haven't really made any big strides in that world yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary's of the opinion that if Apple buys Disney, it's going to get a lot worse, and they can't pivot because
I don't
Apple
know.
would be doing-
I think we've reached a point where companies are realizing that in order to make money, you have to make people happy. It was floated around for a few years that in order to make money, you have to appeal to like the smallest minority of an audience. Now I think they're realizing that it's the majority that kind of dictates how much your movies make, and your majority
could have just done better market research. They just went off their own intuition.
They went off of what they were being peer pressured, and the cancel culture, in Hollywood. That's what they were going off of.
But they were going off of Hollywood alone, not the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's the issue.
This is perfect for our next segment because I want to introduce the next segment, but I think we need to thank the Patreon, and then I think we can go into the next segment because this is right there with our next segment.
Thank you, Cynthia, for being a Patreon supporter. You enjoy all kinds of cool stuff, including our weekly pre-show that we do.
Yes.
This recent pre-show, I talked about a huge Tampa pirate festival, and if I'm trying to go to it or not, and we discussed, who's some of my closest friends, as well as if you don't like crowds, are you truly an extrovert? That kind of stuff. I mean, we discussed all kinds of cool things that we do on the pre-show, and Cynthia gets access to that because she's on Patreon. So thank you for being over there. The link's in the description if you want to join. Select the tier that best fits your content needs. Thank you, Cynthia.
Okay.
So going into this next bit.
Yeah, this is right with what you're saying with Hollywood and stuff. So Jake Gyllenhaal and Doug Liman, the director for the new Roadhouse movie that was made under Amazon Prime's I guess Amazon Prime made the movie, but Jake Gyllenhaal
Amazon Prime Video.
Yes. So they never, I guess, wrote down in their contract or anything. Jake Gyllenhaal never specified that, this movie's going to theaters. And so right now, Amazon Prime has decided we're going to just put it on the streaming service, we're not putting it in theaters at all. Nobody
Look,
can go see it in theater. He's
I
mad.
have a lot of opinions. Yeah, they're mad. I have a lot of opinions about this, but right off the top, I don't understand how they would not be aware of this. Has Amazon Prime ever released a movie in theaters?
I don't think so.
This would be the first if they did. So I don't see why they thought
here's my issue with it is I mean, number one, you've signed up to do a movie with a shipping company.
Yeah.
Whose main
E-commerce.
source of income is e-commerce and shipping, and they also have a studio company that doesn't make nearly as much money.
No, they only make because their e-commerce is successful.
Because they do not need the money from this.
These
And
departments
so-
share funds.
Right. It is not important if this goes into theaters. It is not important if this is super successful. And they do
This is
not,
them. Look,
they do not
I've heard-
care.
right. They don't care. This is I heard Amazon Prime described in this way by somebody. I don't remember who it was. This is Amazon Prime looking for clout in the Hollywood system.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're not making any good business decisions. They don't understand the business of filmmaking and production in Hollywood and studios. They just created a studio because they have tons of money.
Yeah.
And they start producing content, and they're trying to get clout in an arena that they are not really associated with outside of their streaming service.
This is interesting because the past 2 movies that Jake Gyllenhaal has done have not gone to theaters. You had The Guilty back in like 21, I think. And then after that, he had Ambulance, which also just went straight to Amazon
Netflix.
Prime. Ambulance was on Netflix? I thought that was Amazon Prime.
I want to say
Guilty was Netflix, and then
okay, yeah,
and then
you're right.
Ambulance was Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
But so it's
Got this
interesting
mixed
that right now Jake is being like, we need this to go in theaters. Why do you think he wants it to go in theaters so bad?
I think because it's such an iconic film.
It is.
IP.
It is an iconic thing that they're trying to.
It's not an original idea.
But I mean, if you look at the business model, the reason that a studio, that a production company would want their movie to go into theaters is so that as many people can see it and they can make as much money from it as possible. Amazon Prime doesn't need that. But it's more interesting that Apple TV, Apple Plus is investing in filmmakers and investing in TV and movies that are going to theaters first.
Right.
So that and it's less like they are it's more like they are funding a project, not getting involved in the project.
Do you think so this is coming out now, and a couple weeks ago, we had the terms for the actors strike come out. And part of that is show accurate numbers. The actors get paid based off how it performs on these streaming platforms. Do you think Amazon is making any of these decisions based off that, you think?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I think anything that's absolutely possible. But I don't know why. If you want the movie to make money, I think this movie has potential to make money. They should release it in theaters, but they could be hedging their bets and saying, well, if this doesn't get any viewership in theaters, we could just put it on Amazon Prime where everybody has to come to watch it, and we can kind of fudge our numbers a little bit because everybody has to come to Amazon Prime to watch the movie.
Yeah, you have to think about the contrast. So theaters is the legacy style that potentially earns actors and directors the most money. Yeah. All right. Especially if it's a decent run. Then you get into the streaming platform where the business of streaming is, since Netflix started it, has been we want subscriptions. So there's a lot of people that don't have Amazon Prime subscriptions. And I believe you said this article points out that they went to Jeff Bezos's yacht
Oh yeah, they
and did a private showing for him and then made the case to get it in theaters, and he still
yeah,
turned them down.
yeah.
Um, and the business side of this is you want the company to have subscriptions. Like you don't want to collect a big fat paycheck from theaters that you also have to dish out a lot of money up front to get it into. What you want is you want that monthly payout from tens of thousands or millions of people, you know?
Mhm.
And from the business side, to benefit the company Amazon Prime, that's the right way to go. To benefit the creatives, it's a theater run, you know?
Well, also, I mean, you can really see what a tool Jeff Bezos is, that you would take your movie to him, that this is important to you, and that he can't see that importance. He looks at it and he's just like, "Oh, yeah, it's a movie that can go on the
Yeah.
streaming platform." He doesn't have any vested interest in the streaming platform.
No.
He doesn't care. It's not the main source of income for him. Whereas the studios and the production houses, it's like, yeah, we got to get this into theaters. This has to make money. We got to promote it. We've got to have interviews. We've got to have ads. We've got to have billboards. People need to go to the movie. They've got to enjoy it. They've got to tell their friends. Whereas the companies are like, throw it up. Especially not necessarily Netflix, because they are a movie studio company. They have to, their stuff has to be successful. But for Amazon Prime, for Apple, sure, toss it
No.
up, toss it up, toss
Yeah,
it up
toss
on
it
the
up.
toss it up on the computer.
And this is probably another form of clout. This is like Amazon Prime or
Look
Jeff Bezos
how
saying,
good of a movie that we can make that doesn't have to go to theaters. We can make it
or
and
just
put it
that,
on
or
our
just that it's on
website.
streaming services,
They-
or just that they have this many subscribers to Amazon Prime. Like that's
Mhm.
the clout that they want, because streaming is all the rage in Hollywood
Yeah.
right now, especially among the business side of the companies. Like no one really is, outside of a few examples, there's not a ton of business people going like, well, my movie made this much in theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Disney's trying to play that game, but they've had so many successes, it's almost a tired game to play. Right now,
Mhm.
the hot gauze is how many subscribers do you have on your streaming platform?
Oh yeah.
And that's what the motivation is, to keep this there. They don't want people to go to the theaters, see the movie, and not get a Amazon Prime subscription, you know?
But
But then
Amazon
people,
Prime, if you have an Amazon Prime for the shipping service, you also have an Amazon Prime video
Yeah.
service.
well,
Correct?
that's why they would put this up on their streaming service, so that you sign up for Amazon Prime, which is both, and
Yeah.
okay, so maybe you watch Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse movie. That's why you signed up, but you've still got 7 days on this free trial.
Mhm.
Why not go ahead and order something that's going to get here
Pringles
tomorrow.
off of Amazon Prime.
Order something that's going to get here tomorrow. Take advantage, and then maybe potentially you see how useful that is, and you keep it. I think that's the kind of bets that they're hedging. But most
Mhm.
people are going to sign up for the 7-day free trial and then cancel it right after they watch Roadhouse.
Yeah, I think it comes down to they just don't care. They
Mhm.
just are looking for subscription numbers, and they use e-commerce and a whole bunch of other stuff, as well
Mhm.
as Amazon Video Prime.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's
To have
almost
subscription
like-
numbers.
yeah.
It's almost like all these photos are, Jake Gyllenhaal without his shirt on. It's like Amazon Prime is,
Yeah.
they're showing off Jake
We know what their
Gyllenhaal's
market
body
is.
for their Amazon Prime company.
Think about it. You're a young woman, and you like Jake Gyllenhaal,
Mhm.
but you
And
don't
you
have
buy
Amazon
stuff on the
Prime.
internet.
But you do buy stuff on the internet. So when the movie comes out exclusively on Amazon Prime Video, you
Yeah, you're
set
gonna
up
be like,
yourself a
"Gee."
Amazon Prime account, and
To get some of that prime
to
Jake.
watch some of that Gyllenhaal.
Prime
And-
Yeah.
Prime Gyllenhaal.
And
Prime.
But since you have Amazon Prime for the next 7 days, you go ahead and buy some stuff. Maybe you keep Amazon Prime. That's what they're going for. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to. It's a trap. It's a honey trap.
That's why these
Oh, it's
e-commerce and tech companies
A honey
they
pot.
don't they're going to collapse the entertainment system because they
'Cause they
are
don't
only
care.
operating in their income is not based on it.
They want
Whereas
you to
you have
buy
something
stuff
like
on Amazon
look,
Prime.
Netflix, if their entertainment does not make money, they failed.
Yes.
If they do not get subscriptions for the shows and movies they make,
Yes.
they failed.
Yeah.
That takes way more balls than what Amazon Prime is doing.
If
And also just think about this. The investment of the actors and creators for this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's super cut.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He really went through a transformation to
Yeah.
make this film good. And they're not going to respect that?
If this fails, if Prime Video fails, if their studio fails, Amazon does not. They are still making money because they are a shipping company. If Apple fails, if Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, if it fails, Apple
In some
does
ways, you could
not.
say it's still not off the ground.
Apple does not fail because they are still selling computers and
Yeah, I have really nice Apple
phones
computer and phone and everything right here.
and cameras and everything, and they are not losing anything. It's
They're
not,
getting in the VR game. They're gonna
I
have
mean,
super
to
expensive
put it in
headset.
like I guess go really hard with it. It's not like life and death for them. You make money with the videos, or you don't make money with the videos, and you fail.
It's cloud, dude.
It's
For
just
some
clout.
reason,
We can do it. We
Hollywood
can
has
put
been
up
so
a streaming service.
yeah.
Let's do
Amazon.
it.
What? No, look, Hollywood has been for the past 100 years has built it's a house of cards basically,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
it is they have this fake sense of respect around the world from
Yeah.
these film studios, these film directors, and these actors because we see them on screen and they become heroes and big personalities to us because they're on this giant screen at the theaters. So Hollywood has created over the past 100 years this reputation that these people want to be in on. You know, if you want to be the celebrity, then you got to be in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And these business owners are like, nobody knows my name. I know. I'll start making movies. And they just want the clout, man.
Yeah.
And they have the money to burn
Hollywood
to do it.
clout. If you're Amazon or if you're Apple and you can get Jake Gyllenhaal or Martin Scorsese or
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio or any of these big actors,
All of a sudden, you have clout
you got
for
the
no
clout.
reason.
Yeah,
Just because you have money
because
to
you're
tap
pretending to be now, I think Apple's actually doing it pretty well. I think they're not. I think they've got some solid stuff under their belt so far.
But
I
nobody's
think,
betting it. No, who has an Apple
but
TV
like
Plus
like I'm
subscription?
saying, what I'm saying is you have
I don't
to.
know.
I think they made a good decision. Wasn't Killers of the Flower Moon funded by Apple TV?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're
And it
doing
went to
theater stuff.
theaters. That's what you need to be doing. That's what
If
these
you want the
companies
real
need to be
clout,
doing.
Jeff, you're not going to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
You might.
But if he wants true Hollywood clout, you got to play the theater game because that's
Yeah.
what Hollywood does.
Yeah.
The only
And
person who
listen,
doesn't do it is
presentation.
Netflix, and they are on shaky ground constantly and will continue to be on shaky
As
ground
as
because they are doing a dangerous business
as much as I hate watching Nicole Kidman talk about the whole AMC theater thing every time I go into the theater and I have to watch her stupid, she's not wrong about
she's not wrong.
it's the feeling. There's
Yeah.
a reason we
There's a
enjoy
magic.
going to the movies is
But honestly, that promo
And-
she's watching a failing film because she's the only one in the theater.
but also
No,
it's about that, that's what gives people the feeling, the desire, I think it even lends itself to making people love the actors, and Hollywood is because they get that feeling of going to the
Yeah.
movies
And
enjoying the screen and the popcorn and the crowd and everything.
what is Jeff?
Turn
he
a
knows
turn
a lot
movie.
about a shipping company, but listen to Jake and Doug, that have been in the filming industry for 20, 30
Yeah,
years at this
decades,
point.
man.
Listen to somebody
Listen,
who
I think
knows what they're doing
He
with
doesn't care. He
movies.
doesn't care.
Jake needs to get himself he doesn't need a mentor for acting, maybe just a mentor for signing contracts. Because this movie's done and he's making a problem with this. Why didn't you talk to Tom Cruise, who has this down to a science? You know what I mean?
Who's still putting movies in theaters.
His priority, him and Christopher Nolan, number one priority is theater
movies in
experience.
theaters. Yeah.
So why don't you best believe you're not going to see Tom Cruise act in an Amazon Prime movie that doesn't go to theaters.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Because he's not part of the religion, you know? Jake's got to
No.
get religion.
Well,
it's because Tom Cruise puts that in his contract.
I think Tom Cruise is outside of that. It's almost like nowadays you have to star in something that's going to be on Netflix or Amazon. But Tom Cruise is kind of outside of that realm. He doesn't do that stuff.
Because he collapsed. He has his own production company. He started back with the first Mission Impossible.
Yeah, go work with Tom.
Do you think this is a whole other topic, but this is interesting. Do you think so? We for a long time saw the movies go to theaters, and that's what studios were doing. And then, as much as maybe we don't give him that much credit, I think Adam Sandler signed this contract with Netflix and said, I'll do, I don't even know what it was, 5 films for Netflix, and you give me 100, 200 million, and I'll do 5 films. And he's been doing that for a while, and then people like Ryan Reynolds did it after Adam Sandler, and now
directors are doing it. Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, it almost
David
seems
Fincher.
like Jake is doing that now, where he had the Guilty, and he's going to these streaming platforms. You think that's
where I think that's where the work
going?
is. I think that's where the work is. I think unless you get an opportunity where you can be in something like Oppenheimer or Barbie or something, the work is at Netflix. The work is at
because they always
Amazon
got something
Prime.
for you.
But the actors are realizing that's not where the money is.
Right. Now, I do think it's also not just it is where the work is. What am I trying to say? It is where the work is, but in some fashion, it's not. I don't know what my point is. It's not where the best interest for the Hollywood is, because it's kind of crumbling in on itself because of this.
Unless they can make it work. Unless somebody can make it work.
But you're gonna have one-off.
With the strikes, they are trying to make it where the money is too. The strikes were part of, we want this to be where the money is also.
Yeah.
I think.
So let's see this. Can Amazon Prime fudge the numbers and do a payout to Jake? Or are they expecting it to not do well and they can just have the clout for the film and not have to have a big payout?
Here's the here's my thoughts. If Jake and Doug know that this movie's not going to go to theaters, and they know that, but they can kind of pressure Amazon into really pushing the movie. If they make a big stink about it not going to theaters, maybe Amazon will promote the movie a lot more so that they can get the views, they can get the numbers, and Jake and Doug know that they're going to get money because of that. If they make a stink about it.
If they make you think this is a tactic?
It's a look.
I think it's a plan.
I think it could be. I think it's a scheme. It's a win. It's more of a win-win this way. If you make a stink about it, they promote it more. They, they get more eyes on your movie on the streaming platform. You get paid. If they decide to put the movie into theaters, you get paid. So making a stink here is the most important thing for them.
Okay. Right. It's unfortunate that Tom Cruise couldn't have made a heavier stink with when his film came out a week before the Barbenheimer catastrophe.
Yeah. But that made news. That he made a stink about it. It made news. So,
and it still didn't change anything though.
But
people didn't show up for that movie, unfortunately, which they would have if it wasn't followed up by Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And I don't think we fully knew to that extent how threatening Barbie was to his movie. I'm sure he thought
Mhm.
it was a big threat. He probably had his eyes more on Oppenheimer with the IMAX and everything.
Mhm.
But man, Barbie just slaughtered everything for the
Yeah.
first couple weeks.
Yeah.
Slaughtered everything,
Gee,
which is
would they be slaughtering? They just
it,
it's violent out there.
it's the first movie that women have seen in 3 years in theaters. That's what it was. I swear that was such an annoying. It was such an annoying summer for that.
Mhm.
I went to watch Oppenheimer and
Yeah.
crowds of pink,
Yeah.
both anorexic girls and ones that could barely put on their pink shirts. You know what I'm saying? Their
Mhm.
pink
Ooh.
sweaters.
Ooh.
Like it was the whole spectrum of pink, and it was
It-
a sea of it in downtown St. Pete's.
And
Yeah, it was.
the funny part is, I think to me with that whole thing is they went and watched it and were like, "Wow, that was so good." That's
I
it.
can't
That's
remember the
it.
last
Brad,
time
not
I
not
saw a movie.
that was a good movie. That was so
Did
good.
you did you put M&Ms in your popcorn?
Wow. Wow.
Wow, that
See,
I
and
learned
the
something new. I'm
problem
gonna
is,
tell my Instagram.
here's the problem. Hollywood's not making movies for women. I haven't seen that was the first movie for women that I've seen in
For the women.
like a decade. They haven't made
Now
any rom-coms. They haven't made any romance
they have
movies.
they have
What?
been going straight to
What?
streaming,
Exactly. Where's the you need
not theater movies.
They need theater movies like The Notebook and like Titanic. Don't they realize that's where the money comes from? If you can get men and women into the theater, that's where you're going to make money.
And the men kind of have to go by proxy because
Yeah,
all these wives,
you need
daughters,
it.
and
Yeah,
girlfriends
make a
are
romance
forcing them
movie. Stop
to
putting them on
spend their
streaming. Or make
It-
a movie for women that goes into the theaters. That should be the lesson that we take away from all this. That we take away from Barbie is that
Look,
if you
put it in
make a
theaters?
movie for women,
it's a
Put
hard
it in
sell
theaters.
to do a $1 billion movie if you're unless you're Chris Nolan. You
well,
know
that's
what I
why
mean?
they're trying. That's what they've been trying to do with the superhero movies. Make superhero movies for women, but it
But
doesn't
women don't
work.
like
Women don't
superheroes.
aren't.
No,
They
that's not
do
gonna
not
work at
care
all.
about women. Don't
They
care about
like
superheroes.
they
They
like
don't care about
Barbie.
action heroes. They
They like
like
90 Day Fiance.
romance
They
and
like Ryan
drama
Gosling being sweet.
and muscles.
Right. They like
And tacos.
what else do women
And
like?
Tacos and Starbucks.
They like The Rock acting like a dad.
Right. Yes. They like
Yeah.
they like rom-coms where, it's funny, awkward love situations.
Right.
It doesn't even
This is
have to
the
really be all that funny.
No, because I heard Barbie wasn't.
Yeah.
I heard Barbie was a snooze or just annoying because it was super woke. But it made more money than any other film this year.
Mhm. But it had such cute outfits. Oh my gosh.
Such cute outfits.
So cute.
We had a stacked cast of beautiful ladies.
Beautiful people,
so
and
diverse.
outfits and everything. It
We had
was
an Asian Ken.
it was so good.
You know,
Shang-Chi showed up.
didn't
Will Ferrell was in
Kim
it.
Jong
That's the guy from Elf.
didn't the comedian the comedian guy from The Hangover, didn't he play like a receptionist in or something?
The
Probably.
Hangover. There's a couple. You talking about Zach
the Asian-
Galifianakis?
No, the Asian guy, the comedian,
The guy
that-
you hate, the dude
Yes.
who talks like this.
Yes,
Ken Jeong?
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
I just remember Bobby Lee saying that he went in for to play like a receptionist character.
Play Asian receptionist.
And you know how funny it would be if just Bobby Lee was
Bobby Lee
just
was the guy?
randomly thrown
Mhm.
in there. I would love that.
What's the lesson? What if you were to nail it down to a sentence? What does Hollywood need to do to make money?
Do what they've done in the past. Make romantic movies and rom-coms to get the women in the theaters, make good action movies to get men in the theaters, and make good kids movies to get everybody in the theaters.
Yeah.
That was a good long sentence.
Mario
well.
is good. Keep
Second
doing
highest
that.
grossing film of the year. Oppenheimer, man's
Oppenheimer
history movie.
and Maverick, good for men, for adults, right?
Yeah.
Barbie.
Barbie is a woman movie. Clearly does well.
Yeah.
Clearly.
These are the three. This is the trinity. This is the triforce of
Oh, is that what
movie
it is?
making.
Yeah.
It's
And
almost
you know
like
who-
it's almost like people who watch movies are men, women, and children.
and you know
So
who don't
make
watch
movies for men,
women,
and children.
And you know who's not on that list?
grandparents.
The they thems.
Oh,
I mean, it seems like that's what they're trying. That's who they're
They're not
trying
on
to
that
make
list.
movies for.
Exactly.
But the problem is, it's not a big enough demographic.
no.
The biggest demographic on the planet is men, women, and children.
Okay.
So
we'll
I
stick with
think I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I just want to reference it again. For next year's most anticipated movies, we gave Mean Girls a 3. Based on this conversation, I think it's going to do a little better, though.
It could.
I mean, it's
it
the
could.
only big movie made for women next year. That's going to
Women
theaters.
are starved for entertainment. They really are.
It's a high school woman movie.
It doesn't matter. Dude.
It's a woman movie.
It's Mean
got
Girls.
the clout of Mean Girls. The idea that
And Wicked. We said Wicked's going to be big.
women,
Wicked and Mean Girls are going to be the woman movies for next year.
Women are starved for entertainment these days. Not like starved for anything else. They eat good and just go out on the streets.
A lot of boyfriends' money be flying around.
But they need something. They need that entertainment, and they're not getting it.
Well, Hollywood needs the girl money. That's what they need.
Yeah, Hollywood needs girl money. They're trying to get it from superhero movies and action movies by making girls strong and powerful. That's not what girls want. Girls want to see shopping.
They don't know what they
want to see. High school. They want to see gossip. They want to see drama. They want to see
a
romance.
biopic about Kim Kardashian. That's
And
what
you may watch this and you may think, wow, that's all stereotypical. But look at every movie that has been
There's a stereotype
successful.
for a reason.
Yeah.
The Notebook, Titanic, Barbie. These movies, almost all rom-coms. These movies are successful because women like watching them.
Right.
And so if you can get that, if you can, and you're right, I think
all the
Mean
women
Girls
and John Mark love
and
those
John
movies.
Mark. Yeah, exactly.
John Mark goes by himself to women's movies.
if you can get, I think you're right about Mean Girls. Is it's gonna do well because the women want
It's
something
one of
to
2
watch.
women movies next year. That's
Exactly, and that's all you need. That's all women want
because they're only going to show up for two or three at
one
least.
movie a year or 2 movies a year. What is going on?
I don't know. For audio listeners, every time I do a hand gesture, my freaking my computer has some kind of setting on it that creates little animations and it freezes up my
StreamYard.
It freezes up
Do a peace
StreamYard
signal.
that we record on.
I don't mean to cut off this conversation, but we have been going for like 45 minutes with this conversation.
It's a bubble. It's a green
It's a bubble. Why is? But see, it freezes it up. It can't finish the animation.
So finishing off my thought, the women need at least 1 movie a year.
Yeah,
And that's it. At least
2 would probably be. You could test 2.
they
which we're
will
gonna do
watch.
next
They
year.
will watch.
We're gonna test
The
2.
Office. They will watch The Office every other day of the year, but they need 1 girl movie.
I will watch
They
The
need
Office
1 girl
every other
movie.
day. Dude, you can't put The Office in
It's
a girl
it
category.
is. It's. I'm sorry.
It
It's
is.
girl.
It
It's
is.
girl show.
it is.
It's girl show.
It's
Put on a
not.
Dunder
It's
Mifflin
everybody's
hoodie.
show, dude.
Put
But
on an
they go
Office. Put on a
for it.
Bear Beats Battlestar Galactica hoodie. Go out. Guess you're gonna get compliments.
Yeah.
It's the main reason I wear that hoodie
Yeah.
is to go get compliment from women. "Oh my gosh, I love your hoodie. I love that show."
And you're like, "Hey, I have a
Well,
girlfriend."
okay, so I used to do that, but not these days as
Why
much.
it's
Oh, well, it's so much more fun these
Hey,
days because now
stop!
you can say no.
I'm taken.
Like, you have the power.
Hey.
I'm taken. My girlfriend loves this hoodie too.
So let's do this last
see-
segment, Joshua.
That's all I had to say
yeah,
about
I
that.
mean, we are taking a hard flip in a sense.
Well, you know what? I
Yeah.
don't think
We're
I
not
don't
taking
think
that hard of a
it's
flip.
not that
because
hard because the
This whole
comparison
episode
here.
somehow, and I didn't mean for it to be that, but this whole episode has become, why is Hollywood? Let's just name the episode.
Why is Hollywood?
Well, let's be honest. There's no movie that's getting more
Mm.
buzz right now than that topic
So
of why is
Yeah.
Hollywood, you know what I mean? Why is Hollywood is a hot conversation these days.
I think you guys. This one's coming out. Godzilla -1.
Yep.
I was debating going to see it. I don't know if I'm going to have time today. But it's getting a lot of views.
It's getting a lot of positive reviews. Yeah. Well, there are a lot of viewers going to watch this film. Now, this is a big deal because this is a movie that you have to read
Japanese.
captions if you
Yeah.
don't speak the language.
Sure.
And this is doing better than a lot of the American
Yeah.
Hollywood movies. So what's going on here? Is what's this game that we're playing?
I mean, it's
Joshua?
not a game. It's not a game. But what we're doing is we're just kind of on top of everything that we've kind of speculated through this episode. We're doing it really quickly. We just want to talk about why is Hollywood did Godzilla, and now Japan is doing Godzilla. Which one is better? And should Hollywood just give Godzilla back to the original creators?
Well, here's my opinion. Hollywood has taken Godzilla and turned him into
a monster.
a superhero.
Yeah.
Godzilla's a superhero. Anytime
For a
Hollywood or
million-
America gets a hold of something like this, of something everybody likes, it can't be a monster. It's got to be good. And I don't mind the idea as Godzilla as a natural equilibrium kind of creature. You know, big monster arises, Godzilla is king. So he wakes up and kills it because he's he's the king around here. He's the
the
god.
famous-
God.
Words, yeah. Why be a king when you could be a god?
And so and I don't have a problem with that, but Godzilla originally was a walking calamity. It was a representation of the of the atomic bombs of and so -1 is playing off of that, of Godzilla bringing and now Japan has always done this. I mean, sometimes Godzilla's a hero in the Japanese movies, but even if you go back to
By
2014 and watch Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is just this mutant thing coming up out of the deep and slowly mutating into Godzilla, and just destroying everything. And it's haunting almost to watch. And that's what this Godzilla is. It's a calamity. It's supposed to be dangerous. It's supposed to be scary.
Why is the Hollywood version of Godzilla got a 6-pack?
Because he's dope. And now,
Because
I like the look of the Hollywood Godzilla,
Yeah.
but it seems like every time they get a hold of it, it's like, he's a superhero. He's the best. Everybody loves him.
He'd definitely be taking the same thing.
He saves people.
saves
He
the
always does
world.
what's right.
I mean, I've seen Chris Evans without a
Right.
shirt on. He's definitely taking the same kind of drugs that Chris Evans is
He's
taking.
doing something. He's that radioactive creatine. I don't know. I think I don't know that Japan has the infrastructure to do a Godzilla world the way that Hollywood does. Clearly, there's been several movies with Godzilla.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think -1 will probably be another Japanese Godzilla movie. It won't be a series or anything.
And look, Japan has in some ways just doing a simple strategy till we put out a really good movie and we make
But,
money and then
you
we
know,
move on. You know what I
American
mean?
audiences like
Godzilla?
they like a world, right? So if we get to be in the same
Sure.
world and see Godzilla in
I would be willing to say that American audience prefer worlds for series
well,
over
no,
movies,
I
but
think
the argument
they
holds up.
like it in the movies. They like seeing Godzilla, the same Godzilla again. They don't want to go to the next movie and be like, "Oh, this is a different Godzilla. This is a different
Yeah, if you're
this is
doing Kong versus Godzilla, you have to have the
we're
same
doing another
Godzilla.
Spider-Man, we're doing another Batman."
Which
We you know,
Well, to be fair with Spider-Man, they've given us like
right.
12.
Yeah.
So
It's like American audiences don't want to see things change quite so much. So, you know, and I don't know, maybe that's just modern Western storytelling.
yeah, I think the both of these
Mm.
definitely have their place. And I think that I personally think that the regular Godzilla versus Japanese
Yeah.
version. I got it backwards. The regular Godzilla
Japanese
is the Japanese version, and the
Gee,
Americanized Godzilla.
you're about to pull
I think,
the American thing where you say Hollywood is the
but
regular
look,
thing.
I almost didn't pull my parachute, but I got to it. All
Yeah,
right.
you did.
What was the point you were making?
I think the point the point I was making was I think it's a break. All right. We've seen plenty of these movies. We're going to have another one coming out this year with Godzilla
Mhm.
X Kong or whatever, plus Kong. And we're going to get another Godzilla Kong film this coming year.
Where they're superheroes.
And where they're superheroes and we live in a sci-fi world. Huge jump
Yeah.
from one movie to the next. But it wasn't it's a break. It's -1 is a break from what we have to follow
Mhm.
with the American version. Like we have to keep going down this freaking road. It's really hard to start over when you have 4 films, 5 films in the bag. It's the same issue with trying to reboot DC or reboot Marvel. You can't really when you've
They
got
don't
this
want
many
to. They want to
films.
keep making money.
Either yeah, you can't do a reboot. So this is an enjoyed break, an enjoyed kind of refresh button on our minds for a fresh
where you can
take
look
on a
at it and be
Godzilla
like, yes,
story.
this is what Godzilla is and supposed to be.
I don't know. Yes. So I don't know if it's technically better than the American version. I know it's better than Godzilla vs. Kong because
Yeah.
that movie sucked. But if we're talking about the first 2 Godzillas, a Godzilla and then one that's Godzilla
Mhm.
King of Monsters, I believe. I don't know if it's better than those 2 films, but it's definitely a nice, refreshed view of it. And so that's what audiences need is we just need a refreshing new take before we continue down
And
this
if
franchise that we've already
if this movie is
been
really
following.
good, it takes place back in 1940 something.
Mhm.
So it would kind of be cool if, there was a modern take with this Calamity Godzilla. Where it comes back and it's, still maybe more powerful, maybe destroying stuff.
And so, when it comes to these 2, I don't know if one's necessarily better than the other. I do, as far as monsters go and the portrayal of monsters, but I do think there's nice fresh
I
takes
think-
for both. That it's good to
I
get a
think-
break from each other. We'd feel the exact same way if we had 5 Japanese Godzillas that were under this -1 version, and then we got one American one. We feel the same way. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Let us know what you guys think is the better version. As Joseph put it, the regular version. Which one's
Which one is the regular version?
the regular
Tell us
version?
which one you like
Who's
better.
doing Godzilla better?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Is it Godzilla or
It's
Gojira?
Oh,
It's
That's-
Gojira.
Gojira.
Oh.
Yeah. Which one's better? Just leave it in the comments as written.
Which
as
one
such.
do you think looks cooler,
So,
just like all around, just off these two pictures?
I love the design for
It's hard
both of these Godzillas.
They're both solid. They're both
Mhm.
solid.
They're both
They are very
similar.
similar.
I mean,
very
they're
similar.
not too
It was
distinct.
smart of the filmmakers when they made 2014 Godzilla to go with that look and to continue with the look as the movies have gone on. And then Japan kind of sticking with an older style of Godzilla that, you know, based on that's what Godzilla should look like. It should be similar to previous iterations with a new kind of a new spin.
Yes, and I think the spikes sticking out like well-seasoned carrots
Yeah,
out of the
looking
ground,
nice.
out of his back, is a new fresh take. I mean, he's got a full-on, what do you call it? It's not an armor. What do you call it? He's got weapons on his back. No one can sneak up on his ass. They'll die if they try to. That's all I have.
That's all I have.
I tried to end it with a Godzilla joke.
A what? Oh. Yeah, no.
That's all, folks. Let's hope that Warner Brothers doesn't sell Disney Bugs Bunny.
Roadrunner.
Or well, I know
Man,
they already
good
did.
job on this ending, guys. We're really killing it here.
Killing the end.
It's one
Is
of
it
our.
that
I think
bad?
this is our worst ending ever. We're usually talking. We're usually conversating.
If you're here, freaking subscribe or follow. Let's take this opportunity to say, hey, people who listen or watch on other platforms other than YouTube, give us a follow.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a following, because we have a consistent, very small group of people that follow us over there. Very
be a
small.
part of the group.
We're
Come be
talking
a part
like
of the
3-4 people.
part of the crew, part of the ship, part of the crew.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
I have stuff to do eventually today.
You're stressing about this.
Yeah, I've got. Well, it's not just this. I've got a bunch of stuff to do today. So
you do have a list. Apparently, Wyatt's making a list of things he's got to do. So you do need to get to your list.
I got to check stuff off my list.
Making
Right.
a
Better
list,
yourself.
checking it twice.
Yeah, when are we gonna do
Soon.
a Christmas episode?
Yeah, sure. We're doing a watch party. We tried to the other night, and Wyatt
week.
was tuckered out from work, and
Did
so
not want to do one.
we didn't do a watch party. We were planning on doing a watch party. Maybe we'll hit it up this weekend.